My film is about longing. And it's about envy and wanting to not be in your own body and not wanting to be yourself and having a very crystal clear moment where you recognize it might your love for something else might actually mean your love so much for it that you want to be it. Not just a romance sort of with an object, but also just a sort of projection of what is possible outside of your own body. Well, chairs are like a human body, right? If you kind of consider the way that we are folded and the way that we sit. I also think chairs are so elegant. They're so, in their soloness, they're so lovely. And they are, I think, one of the most useful things in the room. I could go without a lamp. I could just be in the dark if I had a place to sit.
The first thing I connected to so much because when I was really little, I would people watch, and I felt emotionally connected to wanting to disappear into something other than myself so completely, in a feeling that was an in loveness, um, and and but also there's this vapidness and oh, I don't know if vapid's an ugly word,
I
but
like that word.
that's where we start from. And I just it made me cry when I read it. It was so poetic to me. And I was also doing other jobs that were so plot heavy, just like plot, 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 where the character wasn't the thing. And so it was so fun to step into an Amanda Kramer film that is it's a painted universe. It was like walking the yellow brick road to Oz. That's the land I feel we were in, of sorts.
I feel like it was all really on the page and we just dove in. I mean, I feel like Amanda gave us everything that we needed. The dialogue was so funny and clever. Did we have great? I mean, I feel like we just kind of threw ourselves into Amanda's universe.
um it was just one of those situations where you felt very free, and tonally it was this idea of just giving up, going, Amanda's going to take care of us, and I don't know exactly what this is, but I'm here for the ride. I'm like, I'm going to cut my hair, I'm going to wear whatever she says, and like, there now we're at Sundance. It was just a crazy ride, and I loved every second of it. It was so, every person who worked on the crew was an artist, and they were there because they loved it and they wanted to support Amanda and they believed in what she wanted to make. And it's really like a purely independent film where it's like not pandering to any audience, and it's not like anything you've ever seen. And I think that's a really difficult thing to say. There's been a lot of movies, they've been making them for a long time.
I think that when I wrote those roles, I wrote them to be a kind of like they're a mirror, you know? They're just like they're the two people that Camille is sort of reflected off of. But when Sam and Robin came in, it was like immediately clear that Sam was going to do something more sensitive. She was going to perform the sensitive one, and that Robin was going to give something a little more judgmental about it. And the interplay of that and the way that that connected as the foils to Juliette's character, it was like perfect. They moved into those characters, and turned them into the utterly their own thing. So it was no longer this reflection. It almost was like this triad of need for one another. And it was incredible.
I can't remember. I just remember a conversation about like what we wanted to do together. You know, I wanted to work with her. She wanted to work with me. And we talked about the script and we talked about acting. We talked about directing. We talked about movies. And then I read the script and it just felt very clear. Like when I read a script, it's sounds a little bit base to describe it this way, but because it is a beautiful script, but it is a blueprint, you know, for an actor, and it tells you what the steps are to get to, you know, the end goal here, like to tell the story. And it was so clear to me. I don't think we talked correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda, but I don't think we talked too much about Olivier, um, in the in-depth way of like, oh, character thoughts and things like that. It was just like, this is very clear. This is very beautifully written and it's very clear. So, I think we just trusted each other.
Well, I knew the pieces that it required, like some choreography and stillness, but a poignancy. And so we talked, are her eyes open? Are they closed? No, because we don't want her asleep. She's just in a space of suspension. And we talked about shapes. So even when I was a chair, I truly wanted to honor every bit of she's in that chair. And I do want to say, even though I use this word vapidness, even though that's the world which she finds herself in, she's as full of passion. And that's what's funny, is that she's actually really passionate, and she's had no place to put it until in this object to be desired or coveted or used. And so all those themes connected with, but the physicality of it I love so much, because I always am physical in roles. I like to work head to toe. And but it was so nice to have Amanda, and we would just talk about shapes, and we both agreed on the more awkward the better, because she's angular. So I didn't actually, even though she wanted me to be comfortable when I was in a scene for a long time, I was like, well, the discomfort is the thing. But we put some pillows so that you don't see. This is long periods of time.
Me and my editor Ben would go through the scenes and try to describe when to cut to Juliette for a reaction shot, because the reaction shots are important. Everyone is chattering around her and to her. How do you know when to cut to her, and how do you know how to appeal to her character in the scene? Sometimes you want to cut to her when she has gone to this absolutely blank place. Her whole body is still, and it looks like her mind is actually gone. She's able to find this kind of gorgeous zen, and you cut to her because you can see the blankness. You can see everyone projecting things onto her. But then every once in a while, you can see Juliette Lewis hearing the lines. You can see her responding in the smallest expression on her face, and you cut to her in those moments when you really want to manipulate emotion, when you want people to feel alongside her. So we were able to use those still action shots as kind of like a duo to travel with Camille. But you came in one day in knee socks, your own knee socks or high socks.
Yeah.
And
I'm going through a tube sock for space.
And we were like, we love the knee socks. But yes, that is a boudoir look, is a very comical, but it tells you so much about her when you see the costumes. Our costume designer is incredible.
Brilliant.
Her name is Sophie Hardemont. She's also a fashion designer.
Her items are available online. I've bought them
We're
myself.
shilling.
Anybody
We're
out
shilling.
there,
We're
if you
shilling.
want to look like you come from By Design,
Yes,
the costume designer can give you a shirt.
it's not only that
You a shirt.
It's not only that everyone should look like themselves. Like, everyone should look like their own character. Everyone also obviously has to look like they're together in the same film. But on top of that, each of these actors need to feel as comfortable as possible to do the job the best that they can do, to be playful, to enter the fantasy. You don't want them standing in wardrobe feeling uncomfortable.
I've never wanted my costumes so badly in all my life. I wanted everything.
I wanted all Mama Doo's costumes.
We all want Mama
Yeah.
costumes.
They actually saved me. I've been wearing the wrong style of glasses all of my life. And I found they gave me a pair of glasses that actually suit my face, and I wear it all the time. Can't wait to put them on.